Before I show you today's activity, I want to make the disclaimer that the statements I'm about to make have not been evaluated by the FDA. It has nothing to do with the prevention, treatment, or cure of any disease. But I'm going to give you information from medical doctors in China. You know, many medical doctors in China are trained in both Western medicine, biomedicine, and traditional Chinese medicine. And I'm going to show you what they recommend everybody do to prevent pneumonia should they get the coronavirus. And you start way ahead of time doing this if you can. Emphasize that the following treatment is to be used before you get sick. This is to be used when you're still well. It would be different treatment if you were sick. Today we're going to give you some self-care that Chinese doctors are recommending so that you don't get pneumonia when you catch the coronavirus and your symptoms will be mild. That's the goal anyway, no guarantees. It all depends upon your individual constitution and the state of your health. We're going to do Moxa today. It's the burning of an herb called Moxa. This is Moxa. It's the ground up leaves of the mugwort plant. For most people, you're going to want to do this outdoors because it'll stink up your whole house. It'll get in your clothes closets, it'll get in all your clothes. It's better outside. Today we have a little wind going. That's pretty good if it's not too strong. That way it helps the smoke blow away from us as we burn the Moxa. First of all, you're going to need a Sharpie for marking the points. The ink from Sharpie is non-toxic. You're going to use this to mark the points so you can return to the same place over and over again. Moxa poles. You can get these Moxa poles on Amazon. They're about 8 inches long, a little less than 3/4 of an inch in diameter, as you don't want the little ones that look like a cigarette. One pole here has a single wrapper of mulberry leaf paper. You don't have to do anything with it except just light it on fire. This one is more common, easier to get. This one has an outer wrapper like a label. And what you want to do is push it out of that outer wrapper, throw the label away. Before you set these on fire, you're going to make a little cap to put them out with. This is a 4-inch square of aluminum foil. You're just gonna wrap that over the end, and then you're gonna loosen that a little bit and have it ready to help you put the fire out. You can't put these out with water, it'll ruin them, and you can't stub them out like putting out a cigarette or a cigar. It just won't go out. It continues to burn until you shut off the air. Okay, before we get started with burning the Moxa, we have to mark the points. And the points that the Chinese doctors are recommending, first of all, stomach 36. It really does help increase your energy. It helps your stomach and it helps your digestion, your appetite. The upright chi is the normal chi that keeps you strong and defends you against attacks from the outside. This point is called in some of the texts the cure of 10,000 diseases. So to find this point, there's 2 landmarks we're going to go by for simplicity. So if you're close, you're going to be okay. And I'm going to show you how to get close. 2 landmarks are the bottom of your kneecap, and then the other landmark is going to be the sharp edge of the shin bone here on the outside, not the inside. Now to find the point, this is what you do. You lay a hand across the bottom of the kneecap, the 4 fingers. This first finger is up against the bottom of the kneecap, and you'll notice that my hand is straight across, not down. I'm going to go to the 4th finger, the pinky finger, and I'm going to find that sharp edge of the tibia, the shin bone, and then I'm going to go about a thumb width wider than that, and my finger wants to fall right in a little hole between 2 muscles. It's actually the split between the tibialis anterior muscle and the peroneus longus, and the extensor hallucis longus is in there too. It's in between. So we're going to take this Sharpie and we're gonna mark the point right where the tip of my finger fell into that little hole. Okay, so there it is. I've marked it a little bigger than I needed to. And again, this is non-toxic ink. I'm gonna mark the one on the other side. Put my first finger, my forefinger, right up against the kneecap. And I'm gonna go to the bottom of my pinky and find that sharp edge of bone. And I'm gonna go lateral. I'm gonna go toward the outside, about the width of my thumb, until my finger falls in a nice little hole there. And I'm gonna mark that. We're gonna use Moxa on these for 5 to 8 minutes each side. I'm gonna remove the outer wrapper if it has one. If the wrapper is kind of tight and doesn't want to let you push the stick through, then you can roll the wrapper a little bit between your hands. Don't roll it too hard, don't use too much pressure, or you'll loosen up that herb that's all packed in there, and then you have a greater risk of pieces of the ember falling off as you're working. Okay, it lights pretty quickly, but you're gonna wanna light all the way around the edges of it. I'm turning the Moxa pole, and you'll see I'm gonna have to block the wind a little bit. You'll see the paper's getting burnt a little, but the Moxa's not yet on fire. You'll see red ember when the Moxa catches on fire. You can blow on it and see where the embers are, and then work on firing up the other side. There you see the Moxa's going. All right, now it's the whole end of it's glowing red when I blow on it. I'm gonna hold this about an inch away from that point that I marked. Here's my mark. Okay, I'm gonna hold this, and I'm not gonna hold it perpendicular to the skin. I'm gonna hold it in such a direction with this point that it's like a laser beam going from front to back of the leg. Okay, I'm gonna aim it posteriorly. Hold it about an inch away from the point. This is gonna feel nice and warm. Don't burn yourself. When you're playing with fire, you can set things on fire, and don't do this in an area where there's a lot of dry leaves and things that could catch fire if sparks blow off of it. And you should have a bucket of water handy, or a fire extinguisher if you need it. It should be close by, okay? Now this is starting to get warm. I'm gonna hold it here until it feels too hot. Then I'm gonna pull it away for a moment. Right now my leg's loving it. I'm not having any excess heat. I can go a little closer than an inch if I'm careful and watch what I'm doing. If you have body hair that contacts the flame, it's gonna burn. It won't really catch fire, but the hair is gonna burn. It's gonna smell like burnt hair. If you have anything on your body hair that is flammable, like a gel or a hairspray or something, don't do this. Do it only with clean body hair, and a little bit of the hair will burn, but it's not a problem. It's not going to catch you on fire. Now the area around the point is starting to turn nice and red, and it's feeling pretty warm to me. And then it may suddenly get too hot, like it's burning you. It's not really burning you, but it'll feel that way. And if it suddenly gets too hot, you pull the stick away for a moment, and you go back about an inch away from the point. Hold it there. Take it away when it's too hot. 5 minutes to 8 minutes each side. And the doctors in China are recommending you do this twice a day. So it's a bit of time, but if we're isolated at home and maybe working from home, but we don't have our commute time and all of that, so we've got a little more time on our hands while we're at home. And this is really the most important thing you can do for self-care, this right here. Aside from your sanitary measures, hand washing and everything, to help you keep strong and boost your immunity, this is the most important thing you can do. It's getting warm pretty quick. I'm going to take that away. If the smoke gets around your face too much, change positions so that the smoke is drifting away from you. Okay? You don't want to breathe that. Definitely don't try to smoke it. If you have asthma or respiratory allergy, this is not going to bother you too much as long as you don't directly inhale it. It's okay if you can smell it. We actually use Moxa to treat asthma patients when they're wheezing. A certain point in their upper back is very good for that. So I'm going to take my aluminum foil that I made a cap out of. I'm going to stick it over the stick and I'm going to crimp it all the way around the stick tight so it shuts off all the air. All right, and then I'm going to lay that Moxa stick on a surface that won't burn. Concrete is good, brick, metal. Here I've just laid it on the grass, but the grass is not dry. It's not wet either. It's not going to make the stick wet. Okay, there are two more points that we're going to use Moxa on, and we're going to alternate them from day to day. One point today, the other point tomorrow. The first point, to find it, you have to find your belly button, find the edge of the bottom rib that we can feel. We're going to follow it, follow it, follow it, follow it, follow it, follow it. Keep following the edge of that rib until we get to the midline where the sternum is. Now, we don't want the bottom of the xiphoid process, which is a little knife-shaped bone between the ribs. We want the bottom of the sternum and the center of the navel. Now we're going to find the halfway point between those. Okay, and it's about here, right? About here. All right, and again, you don't have to be as accurate as you would with a needle because the heat from and light from the Moxa pole covers an area bigger than the point. Okay, so I'm halfway between the navel and the bottom of the sternum. I need to come a little bit higher. And to mark these points, you can do this best in facing a mirror before you go out and do your Moxa. And then the next point is 3 fingers down from the center of your navel, roughly, is going to be close enough for this point. Okay, this is called the Sea of Chi. Center of the navel, go to the bottom of your ring finger, and make sure you're on the center line of the body, not to the right, not to the left. Okay, and you're going to mark that point with a Sharpie. So you've got 2 points here marked with a Sharpie. If you use the Sharpie again after you get out of the shower and mark it every day, then you won't have to go through the trouble of locating these points again. Spend about 5 to 8 minutes on one of these points today, 5 to 8 minutes on one of these points tomorrow. Standing up is going to be the best way for you to do this. All right, if the ash gets too thick and it falls off, it may land on your skin and cause a burn. Okay, so keep an eye on how thick the ashes are getting on the end of the Moxa stick. Either rub them off or you just blow it off. If you're outside, just blow the ashes off the stick. Needles direct the chi. Acupressure directs chi. Moxa supplements chi. Moxa actually adds energy to your body. And it's so much like your own chi that your body just absorbs it and puts it right to work. And it's very yang chi. And so because your wei chi, your defensive energy, is yang, Moxa really helps the defensive energy a lot, the wei chi. All right, thank you. Be well. Please do this. Order some Moxa from Amazon. You can look for 5 Chen pure Moxa rolls. Don't get Moxa rolls that have other herbs added to them. Get pure Moxa rolls. Right now, the 5 Chen pure Moxa rolls are $18 for 2 boxes. That's 20 poles. When the stick gets short and you start to feel heat in your fingers, use something to hold the stick or discard the stick and get a new one. And I'll see you next time.